Morning, everybody. It's the 16th of October. We are Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Steve O'Hare. Happy Friday, Steve.
Yeah, cheers. Nice. At last.
We got there. We made it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How's your week been in general?
Yeah, okay, really. I'm sort of quite well. I mean, obviously, sort of like this is the last day we can go out. I went out last night, so it's quite nice to go out
Yes.
Pal Elliott's, and that was good fun.
So Steve and I are in Essex in the self-imposed Tier 2 category as of Saturday. So actually, Southend is not covered.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I don't live in Southend. I live in the Rochford district. So we.
Can you class it as Southend?
No, unfortunately
well,
not.
it depends, I suppose, doesn't it? I know a few people who sort of like live in sort of like areas that are just outside nicer areas, and they say, "Oh, I live in Wigan Bishops," and they don't. They live in Witham.
Oh right, yeah. Some of that going on. Yeah, don't want to say you live in Southend.
No, maybe
Leigh-on-Sea is not bad.
Oh yeah, Lee. Yeah. I've got a few pals who are sort of all excited about the fact that they weren't going into lockdown because they live in Southend. Yeah,
doesn't make a whole lot of difference, really, does it? It's just the whole people around your house thing is the only main issue. Okay, so what's going on with the markets this morning? It seems to have settled down a little bit after a couple of days of volatile price action.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at some of the. Well, have you got anything on the chart, Steve?
Yeah.
Show us.
I mean, FTSE is one. Obviously, it's sort of like we had this level at 57.67. I think we spoke about it early in the week. And price action yesterday got close to testing it. Didn't quite get there, but then rallied back very aggressively. That's formed a bullish hammer on the candle, on the daily candle. That's a sort of positive candle.
Still very range bound though, isn't it? And no sort of decisive, trend either way, really.
No, absolutely not. So that's positive. Overnight price action as well is positive. We're engulfing yesterday's candle as well. This is on the, if you look on the 4-hour chart, so you're breaking it down to smaller time frames, this is really positive. This is a morning doji star formation, and this is an inverted hammer here, which is again a positive candle. So the 4-hour chart looks good, and we're looking to the bullish momentum to sort of take us above the levels this morning. So quite positive on that aspect. Again, it is range bound. DAX not quite as positive yet, so the sort of like jury's out on there, and CAC also, same as FTSE, a bullish hammer on the daily chart from yesterday. The US markets similar, so I suppose the DAX looks like the one that's a little bit of a laggard and got maybe a little bit of potential this morning. I think we're looking to sell a rally on our intraday reports, but I think there may be even the opportunity to see this catch up with the rest of the market. So I might look at that for my guns to head challenge this morning.
Okay, well, in terms of news-wise, negotiations between Britain and Europe over the post-year-end Brexit split are approaching a crisis, according to the news that we had today, after EU leaders told the UK Prime Minister he must make concessions. Now, David Frost, who is the UK chief negotiator, said he was surprised and also disappointed at the warning, and adding that we are expecting a response from Boris Johnson today. Doesn't sound particularly bullish yet. We've got the FTSE 100 posting a decent rally, and if we look at what sterling is doing as well, that looks to be sort of one of the more bullish foreign exchange markets today. This is sterling Oz, strong move up that we saw, which started earlier in the week, a little bit of a dip lower, but we're sort of pushing higher a bit today, and that pretty much is mimicked across the board. Not so much on sterling Swiss, although in the last hour we've seen a fairly big push higher there on the hourly chart.
What about euro sterling?
Euro sterling is pretty flat, but favouring a move lower there, so favouring sterling. But in the last hour or so, they've seen these big moves.
Yeah.
And it's, as I say, being seen everywhere. It's cable, decent looking candle there as well. So I'm not sure if anything's come out on the news. Obviously, Londoners are a little bit peed off for the fact that they're banned from mixing with other households indoors from Saturday. That obviously extends to Essex as well. But we do have people or leaders in the north of England fighting back against the curbs. So that may force Johnson into taking countrywide action rather than being forced to do it as sort of local lockdowns, which is obviously the plan. Paris also begin their curfews. We've got Germany, Italy, and Ireland all reporting record daily infections, and Spain added the most since April. So certainly the news isn't great, but we are seeing some decent moves today, or at least a bit of a bounce back on the moves lower that we saw earlier in the week. Anything else on the chart, Steve? What's the commodities looking like?
Yeah, they're sort of like been quite flattish, haven't they? The gold and silver, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an hourly chart up on gold actually.
Yeah,
Just
it's
chop, but looking, I think overall pretty bullish in the short term. Let's have a look at this daily chart.
Silver definitely. I'm still sort of favour silver over gold on a sort of performance basis, and that's sort of on a 4-hour chart. Yesterday, sort of like around 2 o'clock, formed a bullish outside bar, so that looks good. Silver,
Yeah.
Gold, similar
Got
sort
gold
of.
daily chart here. I was looking.
Yeah.
We talked about this break of this triangle pattern, which we got back here. A bit of a dip down to maybe retest it, and it's sort of stalling a little bit around here. May get a bit of bullish momentum. I think if we start to see it break above these levels here at 1933, then we could, I think, see a continuation back up to these highs.
Yeah, even 1913 for me is a little bit of a sort of like a pivot level. If we get above 1913 with decent momentum, then we could see some more buyers come back in.
Yeah, sure.
But until it breaks above there, sort of like you can trade the range. Why not sort of sell it in front of it? I think that's what we're doing on the intraday trade. Just sort of like keep the stop quite tight.
Oil, similar picture. It's not the most interesting market at the moment. Talking about this potential top forming, we've got this big band of resistance and potential sort of rounding price action that's taking place on the daily chart. 41.72 remains the big level that needs to overcome. Although, having said that, there was a very big reaction yesterday, so we saw moves lower, but then that sort of rallied all the way back up. I guess that was on the back of the crude inventory numbers at 4 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah, that's a hanging man candle as well, Joe, isn't it? That candle from yesterday's price action is a hanging man candle, and so even that itself on its own is sort of like if we get bearish price action today, then that could open up a few more days of negative price action, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'd be looking at personally is probably just this range in the short term. So selling it at the upper end here, providing it doesn't break above the 41.72, looking to target a move down to these lows down here around about $37. So that's what I'd be looking at potentially. Copper, I thought looked quite bullish still. I mean, that's trading up near its highs.
Yeah.
Price action's been a little bit mixed, but overall still looking pretty solid, I think.
Yeah.
Some of the miners I was looking at in the FTSE 100 yesterday were sort of bucking the trend and moving higher despite the sell-off in the equities. So I think copper is still very much a decent play. We hit target on that yesterday, didn't we? I think Tibor smashed that one out of the park.
Yeah.
With his trade yesterday.
Yeah, on this chart, it didn't quite get down to the entry level on IG markets because the price differential is slightly different.
Oh, the spread.
So yeah, but on the CFD for FXCM, it was like he nailed it, absolutely nailed it. So nice one.
Okay, anything else, Steve?
No, just looking at the headlines really. A few headlines from the ECB coming out this morning. Yeah, I suppose we'll get Johnson shaking his fist and standing pat on his outlook for the Brexit. So
I saw the European Union have wound up Donald Trump as well. Did you see that? Trade wars back on the table.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the US threatened retaliation if the EU goes ahead with tariffs of $4 billion worth of American products. And now the quote is from Donald Trump: "If they strike back, then we'll strike much harder." And he then told reporters they don't want to do anything, I can tell you that. So
Right.
quite threatening rhetoric there from Donald, as you would expect. But he may not be in the chair in 3 weeks' time. So let's wait and see how that goes. Interesting, yesterday we had the Hang Seng providing a bright spot in the Asian markets despite there being weakness elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a chart there, Steve?
Yeah. And I wanted to show this sort of, this is the weekly chart in Hang Seng. This obviously channel was drawn in, and then we've had this reaction from the highs 24,800. But yeah, on the sort of daily chart, I mean, it is this level again that I mentioned quite a few weeks ago, around about the 24,110 level, and it's sort of like nicely above it now. So yeah, potential upside on the 4 hour, looking momentum sort of stalling, negative momentum stalling, and we're getting a nice uplift at the moment in the Hang Seng. China looking okay as well. Yeah, nice little bounce back in the equities.
Let's see if we can follow through into this evening and carry that over into next week.
Yeah, I mean, one sort of like thing on the hourly chart on the S&P's interesting level here. This swing lower back on the 13th, and price action has moved up and retested it on a couple of occasions, and so the 3,500 is a bit of a psychological level in S&Ps. I'd be short below it and go with the flow above.
Okay. Cool. Right, should we have a look at the gun to the head stuff then from yesterday? So
let's do it. Let's look.
This is where Steve and I pick a trade that we think will work out between the hours of basically 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, and we have to call it right there and then. And Steve, you're on a bit of a purple patch at the moment. It's 2 on the bounce for you, both producing some big wins. So yesterday you were short of euro yen and you hit target. Only had a 30 tick target, but it was 3R because you had a 10 tick stop. So
yeah,
nicely done. I was stopped out despite being the same way as you on euro, but obviously sterling kiboshed that, meaning it was a 1R loss, but overall a 2R net gain between the both of us. So nice little tick up in the P&L chart over the last couple of days, just shy of the previous highs that we reached back in June. So
it's not much easier. It seems to be sort of like we're getting back up towards the highs, and Ian hasn't been in.
That's harsh.
Good morning, Ian.
Yeah, morning, Ian. Well, you've sort of quadrupled your return over the last 2 days of where you've been.
That wasn't hard though.
The year. No. So now it seems it's taken Steve a year to work out how to do these trades. So let's see if we can continue this vein of form. Have you got anything for us this morning?
Well, as I said, I think the sort of like maybe the DAX has still got to play catch up with the other indices, which have turned around and looking quite promising this morning. So I'm going to get long a DAX, and obviously where is it trading now? 12,780. The stop I'll put below this bar here, 12,700. And I'll look to target. I don't mind targeting a move. Where's that? Now let's put a bit more of an aggressive stop in then. Let's put 12,730 to 50 tick stop. And targeting move to 12,930, just a 3-to-1, just rounded it up there. 12,900 I know is a bit of a resistance level around that area. So yeah, stop at 12,730, so 50 tick stop. I'm targeting a 150 tick target in DAX.
Okay, great. Best of luck. See if you can get that hat trick. Okay, I'm going to take a look at Euro Yen today. So first of all, just take a look at the daily chart. So this is daily chart going back to these lows in May. Decent rally higher, although it wasn't without volatility. Obviously, that was quite a big pullback. Seen a decent pullback that's taken shape over the last couple of weeks or so, and then we've seen this big burst up higher through the 10-period moving average. That's one thing I'd like to use as a bit of a signal to tell me when momentum might be shifting. We've seen a reasonable pullback to the previous high before that push higher, which I tend to use as support level. So that's a nice little entry level there, I think, on the daily chart, looking to target and move up to these highs up at 2700. But on the hourly chart, we've seen another little poke above this 10-period moving average, and we seem to have found some support here as well, back from the 2nd of October. So I'm going to buy that now and believe we could get a little bit of a push higher today. So let's go for it. We're buying at 23.38, stop loss at 22.97, and well, stick it up here and just leave it fairly open-ended really and see what happens. So that would be 4R if that comes in from here today. Probably a big ask, but you never know. Got to be in it to win it, as we say. That would be even nicer actually if we get a break of trend. So arguably that's happening now. So let's see. So buying DAX and buying Euro Yen are the trades for today. Steve, anything else you've seen? Anything on the news that's catching your eye at all?
Not really. I think we're sort of a little bit of no, not really. I think we just get this sort of like positive indice move into the end of the week, and then let's see what the weekend brings. I don't think there's it doesn't feel as like an exciting non-farm Friday, does it? So
no.
They were the ones that, yeah.
A few bits out today. We've got Eurozone CPI at 10. Then we've got US retail sales at 1:30. US Michigan consumer confidence at 3 p.m. So the big three sort of high impact data points that are due out today, mainly sort of US focused, I guess. So keep an eye on anything dollar related or the US indices, and Euro indices are on about 10 o'clock for this Eurozone CPI number. Obviously, we've got US earnings underway as well. I've picked out three of the biggest names to keep an eye out for today. That's Bank of New York Mellon and State Street, so two financials, and also Schlumberger as well, which I think is oil.
Oh, it sounds like a bed company, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually, doesn't it? I need to confirm this now. Yeah, oil services company.
Right. Okay.
So not anything particularly market moving on that front. Obviously, the tech names are the ones you want to keep an eye out for there, but we'll keep you posted as to when they're reporting, which I guess we'll start seeing that over the next couple of weeks or so. So unless you've got anything else, Steve, I think we can wrap it up for the week. We should have Ian back next week, I believe.
Yeah, I'll just sort of like running through Saxo Group post a really lovely morning sort of commentary. They do a podcast in the morning, and some of the things that they're picking up. Bloomberg article on mysterious flows in QQQ ETF.
Yeah, it's the short. Is that the short ETF on Nasdaq or tech?
Yes, I think so, and they say it's possibly linked to Apple options. So
sorry, it's not a short; it's a long.
Right. Okay.
It just mirrors the Nasdaq.
Yeah. So mysterious flows going on there. So something's going down.
Oh.
I'll look a bit more into that.
Okay.
But yeah, good stuff from the Saxo Group.
Nice. Okay, right, let's wrap it up for the week then. Good luck if you're trading today, and hope you've had a great week. We will be back on Monday morning, all three of us, chatting more about markets and
chatting more bull.
Chatting more bull, yeah, indeed. Okay, right. Have a good one, Steve.
Cheers, mate, and you.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Bye.